Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're actually going to be working on this 350Z right here. It is my first 350Z where we're going to be installing air suspension on it. It should be almost the exact same thing as a 370Z. When it comes to the wiring and everything, if you haven't seen my previous videos, watch that because this is going to be airlift. But the bags themselves are going to be a little bit different. They're coming from AD Suspension, which is a different company. It looks kind of like a universal kit. I'm going to show you right now what it looks like, what we're going to be working with. And then when it comes to the bottom part that goes to the strut, it's a little bit different as well. That's the only real difference between each one. But let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you the struts and then we'll go ahead and start putting everything into the car, and I'll give you a walk around of the 350Z as well. Alright guys, so here are the bags. These are from AD Suspension. It's pretty much like a universal kit, especially the rear one. The front one looks like they might have made it themselves and then attached the bag on there with the bottom piece. But when it comes to the rear airbag, it's a little bit different. I think airlift is a lot better for the rear one because for this top hat, you can't install it onto the top like you can with the airlift one. They do not provide you a rivet or anything to be able to install the top part. It literally just sits on the bucket. The only problem with that is it's going to make a little bit of noise. It's still going to sit on there right here because you're going to be able to attach it. When it comes to the actual top part, you're not going to be able to attach that, so it's just going to sit up there once it airs up. That's one concern that I have. It's not really a problem, it's just going to make a little bit of noise. But when it comes to these fittings right here, I have used these fittings before on a different setup. Not sure if you guys remember, but I installed True Heart suspension on a G35 and he had these type of fittings on there, which just has it screwed in like that, and then you push the airline in and it kind of holds it in place. Now this can possibly come off with the pressure, so it's not my favorite type. I actually like these kind of a lot better because you just push it in and it holds it into place and it will not release it. So these are a lot safer. These are the ones that airlift uses, so I believe these are ADOT approved. I'm not sure about these. That's my only concern really with this kit. Everything else seems pretty self-explanatory. Everything is easy, simple, just like airlift. Everything is ready and set to go. I just need to start installing everything. We're going to be putting this in there. It already fits in there perfect. I just need to mount the compressor. I don't think they provided me the bolts that go on there, but I have some extra ones so I can just reuse those. And then for the tank, it's already mounted on there. I just bought this piece right here from Home Depot, mounted on there and mounted it to the carpet directly. And then I'm just going to drill out my holes to where everything's going to go. Let's do a quick walk around of the car so I can show you guys what it looks like. It is an HR. I'm not sure if you guys know too much about 350Zs and 370Zs. Each year has different type of motor. This is not the DE. The DE is like the first version, and then you have the HR, which has a 2 intakes, and then you have a VHR, which also has 2 intakes, but it's a 3.7 instead of a 3.5. So this is a 3.5 liter V6 engine. Not too much of a difference. If I show you my engine and this one, you can't really tell the difference. It's just that one is a 3.7 liter and one's a 3.5. This is a 350Z, so it's a 3.5 liter. He has a Z1 intakes, and then he has some wheels on there. These are really aggressive. He did have to get his fenders pulled in order to be able to tuck. He should be fine like that because he's going to camber in a little bit. But that's how it looks. I believe he's on TN suspension. It's not too much of a difference from stock. But yeah, there you go. So that's a quick walk around the car. I'm going to go ahead and put it inside right here. That way I have a little bit more space. I'm going to go ahead and jump forward to where I have all the wiring already installed. Just because it is pretty similar to 370Zs, there's going to be a small difference in the rear. I'll show you guys in a later part of the video. So let's go ahead and jump right to it. Alright guys, so everything's pretty much done. We're going to go ahead and go over it really quick so you guys can see how everything is connected. So for the front, we have the positive connected to the red one. Then we have the negative connected to the black one. And then we have the air line that goes to the bottom from right here, going down under there. And then it connects down here at the bottom, coming from that side. And then we are going to add something on here so it's stable and it doesn't move anywhere. And then here's everything else connected. The airbags, everything lined up perfect. I didn't have any issues with it. I still need to add air into it to make sure it does actually go up. So I haven't tried that yet, but we will in a little bit. Everything's connected at the bottom. We go into the other side, same thing as well. Everything's connected. Then we have Gizmo and Zoe being nosy. Then if you go to the back, everything's connected as well. The only problem that I told you guys about was this right here, how it's going to be a little bit loose. Once you add air, it's going to go all the way to the top. It's going to hit the top part of the mounting plate. And at the bottom is secured on there, so it's not going to fall out. And then for the lines, we have this right here. I made another hole right there so it can go through here. And then we have all the lines coming out. And then if you move this thing out of the way, you see it through the bottom. You have two coming from that grommet over there. And then you have one coming from this grommet right here under this foam. And then the other one is coming from the front where we connected the line. So that just gives you an idea of how everything's done. We're going to go ahead and put everything back up. Here is this right here. Everything's all mounted, secure on there. I just need to put it on there, and I made my hole for the back. That way I can run all my lines. And here's the fuse, just in case you guys are wondering. I purchased this at AutoZone. Connected to the pink wire. Goes to the fuse box right here. It is the second one next to the 15 amp. I believe it's the only 15 amp down here next to the bottom section. So just go to that one, and then that'll work perfectly fine. I tried the 15 amp, but it would keep turning on while the car was off. And I switched it to the other one, and now it turns on only when the car is on the on position, not when it's off. That way you can see it's installed into the driver's side. Everything is now installed. Have everything in the back as well. Connected everything. I'm going to clean this up a little bit right here, just to make it look a little bit cleaner. I'm going to mount this right there, that way it doesn't move. But other than that, everything is pretty much done. This is connected directly to the water trap, and then it goes to tank. This is the exhaust, just a line for the air to come out. And then you have I believe this is front right, front left, rear left, and then this is the manifold, the one that connects to the manifold directly. Alright guys, so the car is now complete. This is how it sits. The front is at 110 psi and the rear is at 90 psi. The rear can still go a lot higher. 90 is not that high. 110 is kind of like normal driving, but you can still go a little bit lower, obviously, because you can see that there's a big gap. But I'm going to go ahead and air out the car so you guys can see what it looks like. And then I'll talk a little bit about a few other things with the car that I noticed with a 350Z compared to a 370Z. There is this control arm right here. That sits really low compared to the 370Z. The 370Z is a little bit more flat, and that is kind of stopping the car from going a little bit lower. I thought it was because of the strut, but it's actually because of that, because I tried adjusting it and it didn't really do anything to it. So there you go. That's how it looks. It looks really good. I think that he needs to go with a lot smaller tires for the front and the rear, especially the front. But the rear, you can see that has a little bit of like a gap, like it can still go lower. I did adjust it already as well, about 1 inch, and it still looks kind of close to the same. And then for the front, it's hitting that control arm because it doesn't want to go any lower than what it is right now. So if I try pushing it down, it doesn't really go any lower because it's hitting that control arm. Came out really dope. Super easy install. By far, the 350Z has been the easiest install that I have done when it comes to air suspension, because the bolts were a lot easier to remove. For the 370Z, it has like you have to use like a open-ended wrench on one end, and then you can use a socket. On this one, you can use the socket on both ends to remove the front struts, and that made it a whole lot easier because that's where I struggle with the most. I'm going to go ahead and message the owner to go ahead and pick it up tomorrow morning. This actually took me 1 full day to complete everything, which is crazy because usually it takes me about 2 days, maybe even 3 days. But this took me only 1 day and I was able to complete it. So that's my new record right there. I was able to complete a whole air suspension install in 1 day, and I still took a break throughout the day. And I started at about started about 9 in the morning, and it's currently about 12 at night, and I just barely finished it right now. I did take a break from I think it was 5 to about 8, so that's a few hours right there that I didn't work on the car. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and end the video right there. The 350Z has honestly been the easiest install that I have done when it comes to air suspension out of every single car that I've done. I usually struggle with the front, that's where I really struggle with the most, but because I'm able to use 2 sockets to remove the front bolt, it was a lot easier in that aspect. But everything else super easy, same as everything else when it comes to the wiring. So if you want specific information on how to do everything, I would have you check out my previous videos that I did on a Red 370Z where we did the wiring, connected everything up. I'll be leaving his information down here and in the description below, that way you can go ahead and follow him. Super chill dude. He did also send me some pictures as a cinematics of his car, so I'll be adding that at the end of the video. I will be also working on a 370Z within the next couple of weeks, and also possibly a G35. I'll be installing a suspension on those cars as well, and a few things that I ordered for the 370Z as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.